So I figured I would make another really quick video because it's been about maybe 2 months since I posted something, and I don't want people to, think that I was beaten or defeated by the people I live around. So I figured I would just make like a really quick video, and I think I explained why I don't make content anymore. I've covered, I think, everything I know to cover, and there's nothing left. So if you were wondering, I'm still heavily invested in the idea that we're dealing with something that is supernatural or spiritual. I don't really know what other theory could adequately explain the situation. I mean, these are very disturbed people, and you could run with that. I'm not denying that. You could run with that. You could be like, you live around very disturbed people. I mean, very disturbed people. Like, these are disturbed people, very unstable, very sadistic or twisted and antisocial. I mean, how you could have so many of them in one place, I don't know. How they managed to create an entire community where there's nothing but unstable people, I don't know that either. I can't really come up with any other theory outside of the fact that these are just very disturbed people who somehow forged in a community in which they live around nothing but other disturbed people. I don't know how they could do that. Or it's supernatural and Satan, the devil, or whatever you want to call him, has taken the entire community with his satanic, witchcraft, sorcery, or whatever the hell it is, and it's taken over the whole community. And I guess when you think about it, those are going to be the two main theories that people are going to have to just choose. They're going to have to choose which one of these theories they think is the most reasonable. I don't know what else to say. The government could be running some sort of psyops out here. That's the third one. I mean, I don't know. How did the government get everybody on board? I don't know how they did that. People can't agree on anything. I mean, how did the government convince every single person to get on board with something like this? I mean, that's another thing. I mean, you can't really explain this away easily. So if the government, I'll put it to you like this: if the government had came to me and was like, you have to do this, I would just be like, I'm not doing it. I mean, that's it. Like, how could they do that? Like, the government can't control people that well. I mean, we can't even agree on, which candidate to support, let alone be a part of some sort of evil psyops against another American. I just don't know. I mean, so I just wanted to put that out there. I mean, these are disturbed people, regardless of whether they're, worship the devil or under his influence. They're still disturbed people. I'm just saying this is why they're disturbed. Like, they're disturbed because of the fact that they're probably demonically possessed or under the influence of a demonic entity of some sort. And that's been featured in the Bible more than one. If you go back and read the Old Testament, when God had to send angels in there, this was the community. They were a lot like these people, the community. The angels come in and they get riled up. Like, oh, these angels are here. Let's do something about that. They all gang up on you and surround the houses. So I'm just saying that there's parallels to what's going on in this community and what we read about in biblical teachings. But these are very disturbed people, regardless of whether you believe that there's some sort of spiritual influence over them, or whether there's the government involvement. I mean, of course, it could be me. I don't know. I mean, it could be me. I don't know. I mean, that's possible. I mean, I'm bringing something to the table they can't handle. Some people might go with that one. And I do on some level miss making content for you guys. I mean, yeah, it could be me. I'm the problem. It's me, as Taylor Swift would say. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it could be me. I'm the problem. I existed. I was born, and these people couldn't handle whatever God was doing with me. They couldn't handle it. Regardless, though, these are very disturbed people, obviously, and I just want to remind people that wherever place you choose to live, you probably should get to know the people a little bit better than I did before you move into these type of communities, because If you move into a community and you don't know the type of people that you're moving around, you're making a mistake. That's why there are certain areas in which the cost of living is so much higher than other areas. Like, nobody wants to live in the ghetto and you can live there cheaply. But you got to remember that it's all about location, the people you live around. So, like, would it be worth it to spend an additional $1 million to not live in this community? Absolutely. I mean, if I was wealthy, I'd rather have a small house in a good place than a big house in a bad place. So, like, if you ever come into money, it might be worth it to live in an area that, that's a little bit more expensive. If you choose to live in an area like this, I don't give a damn how big your house is. You're not going to enjoy it. The people that you live around is everything. I mean, it's nice to have nice things and big houses, but you got to remember that you have to live with these people every day for the rest of your life. That is not something you want to take lightly. So I lived in a good area, an area that I enjoyed living in at some point in life, where I was in a good area. It was expensive, and I wasn't being terrorized in that area. It was expensive living there, so I figured, okay, I could come out to the South and live cheaply and make my money stretch. Now that turned out to be the worst decision I'd ever made. So what I'm saying is that this obsession I had with living, cheaply had a price that was so high. Like, if I hadn't moved out here, I don't know whether this would have happened or not. I mean, you got to remember that they got to get everybody on board. Like, this doesn't work unless everybody is a piece of shit. Everybody has to be a piece of shit, or it doesn't work. So it's like, if you move into a place and you figure you're moving into this place because it's cheap, and everybody's a scumbag, everybody's a fucking dirtbag. Everybody you live around is a dirtbag. Think about how easily the government could manipulate these people. So let's assume that the government was responsible. The government comes to some fucking crackhead or fucking heroin dope head and offers him $50 to do some antisocial shit to you, and he's a complete fucking dirtbag. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody. He's a piece of shit criminal. You think he's not going to do that shit? Everybody out here is a piece of shit, so the government can just swoop in and just say, hey, let's be fucked up, and I'll give you a fucking cookie for it. They figure the cookie is a good deal, and they take it. I mean, so the point is that everything is easier when you live in a bad community as far as gang stalking goes. Like, everything, this would be easier. So much easier. Because the people are shit. Regardless, and I'm not trying to be hateful, I'm just saying the people are shit. So every fucked up thing that happens becomes easier, and you're not getting the same pushback that you would get if the people weren't shit. So everybody has to be shit. Everybody has to be shit. Nobody's going to fight back. Nobody's going to push back. Nobody's going to say, hey, this is fucked up. We shouldn't do it. It's fucked up. Nobody's going to do that. Like, these are pieces of shit. They're not going to give a fuck. They got gang members everywhere, criminals and psychopaths. Everybody's a fucking piece of shit. You don't get any pushback, regardless of whether it's Satan or the government. Living around scumbags means that fucked up shit easily can happen. Easily. Nobody's pushing back. Nobody's going to fight back. So this would be the path of least resistance if you were a piece of shit fucking antisocial. This is the path of least resistance. You live in a community and be like, hey, we're going to be the most fucked up humans ever. Nobody's going to fucking fight. Nobody's going to object. So these type of people make this type of operation easier, regardless of whether we think it's spiritual or the government. That's why they go through a lot of trouble to make sure I can't leave. If they think if I left and I was with a different group of people and they said, hey, let's go be a fucking psychopath or a demon or a monster, not everybody's going to be with that. Some people might be like, I don't want to do that. That's fucked up. So pushback. In a place like this, everybody's a piece of shit. No pushback. Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody's antisocial. Everybody's a fucking criminal. Nobody gives a fuck. You can do whatever the fuck you want. They got criminals running free out here. I've never seen so many criminals. You might as well live in the fucking Compton. Everybody's a goddamn fucking criminal. I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. That's why I was like, I couldn't even believe if you had told me a community like this can exist outside of some fucking hood, I wouldn't even have fucking believed it. I will tell you what though, don't be cheap. When it comes to choosing your place to live, do not live in the South with a bunch of people who will sell their own grandmother out for some fucking crack money. Don't live in these southern areas. It's worth it to spend a lot of money and live humbly in a community full of people who are not as bad than it is to be cheap and say, well, I'm going to go ahead and save money and, just move to some place like this because I want a big house. And you forget the people you live around make your living environment. It's not just your house. You go outside, who the fuck are you going to be greeted with? You want to be greeted with these people? I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be hateful. I mean, if they know what they are. Like, people, you go back 50 years, they were lynching people, they're burning crosses, they're just all this fucking psycho shit. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, dude, these would be the same people that murdered a couple people and buried them in some fucking backyard and covered the shit up. You gotta these people. And look at them even now. Like, it's always fucked up with them. I was like, the thing about these people is they're always antisocial and fucking crazy. And that never stops. I was like, you people have been unstable and crazy ever since the fucking founding of the United States of America, and you're still on that shit. This was the place where they were fucking enslaving people. I mean, these people have been fucked up ever since they founded the fucking United States, and we're still here. So you went up north, you went to the areas like Boston, even then they were more civilized. Even then, you come down here and you've then walked into I don't know what the hell to call this shit. But I always thought it was funny that the South has always continuously been antisocial ever since the founding of the United States has been antisocial. And it never actually stopped being an antisocial place for people to live. When you go live in these areas, it always seems to be evil as shit, and lots of evil shit goes on. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know why. What is special about the South where the people are always antisocial? They're always some sort of evil monster. And I'm like, okay, we can't get past that lump. So I don't do this anymore, and I'll explain why. But I just want to give people tips, okay? Vet the people that you live around before you move into the area. Vet the people carefully, be open-minded, be objective. And I'm not saying it's going to solve all your problems, but you want pushback. You want people to not be monsters. You want people to say, this is some fucked up psycho shit. I'm not going to be a psycho. I don't give a fuck who's saying what or who's giving out what. The government comes to them and is like, let's be a fucking demon. And everybody's like, yeah, that sounds good. It's a good idea. Good idea. It's not a good idea. They think it is. Narcissism, they figure they're getting something out of it. It's worth it. How many people think like that? Well, they're getting something out of it. I don't know what they're getting out of it. And they're not doing it for free. I'm just saying, they're not going to do this shit for free and get the whole fucking community on board. They're getting a deal out of this, some sort of deal. And it's working to their benefit. That's why I said, I don't know how the hell you get a whole fucking community of fucked up people. I mean, I figured there'd be some pushback. We have some resistance. Everybody out here, I'm like, God damn, this community's fucked up. How the fuck are all the EV monsters? How is that possible? I haven't seen any pushback from anybody out here since I've been out here. Like, nobody is just like, fuck that, dude. You're terrible. Nobody has actually called these people out for their antisocial behavior except for me, dude. I was the only one. I was actually disheartened by that. I thought the community I thought the United States was in trouble when you get to the point where everybody's on board with some fucked up shit and you're not getting any pushback. I figured we'd get at least 25-30% of the community just saying, you guys are fucking fucked up, dude. We're not gonna do any fucked up shit to anybody. These people were like, they couldn't wait to do some fucked up shit. Like, they were so on board with that shit. It was disheartening. But I haven't lost my faith in the Creator, so I just wanted to point that out. Regardless of how much these communities fall, the Creator still has our backs. A little ray of sunshine in a dark tunnel, okay? But yeah, I've been fine, in case you guys were wondering. It's the same shit happens every day. You get used to it. I don't really stress it a whole lot. In case you guys were wondering, these people, at least the person in the truck was a gang stalker. Most of the people that you see are involved. And as hard as that is to believe, but everybody out here is in the know. There's no one who's not in the know. So you might think that some of what I record is unusual. You got to remember, this community is like no other community you've ever been in. So I kind of want to reemphasize this point because it's important. Everybody's in on this shit. Everybody. Like, they don't give a fuck either. Like, you can easily record it. They don't even give a fuck. Like, they're not even hiding it anymore. So, as I said, there is nothing left for me to cover with my recordings. That's why I don't waste time with them anymore.